Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 432. Again, this is the second time I've recorded episode 432. Because, YouTube ate episode 432. It was completely unretrievable. I've been on YouTube for 15 some years. I've literally never seen that happen, so I I guess I'll give him that one. Stuff happens. If this would be really concerning if it were a constant issue, but I've only ever seen this is the first of my live streams that I've ever seen just get eaten. The old episode 432 is you won't be able to find it because it does not exist, and so we're doing episode 432 again. Not that it really matters, but here we are. Sorry I didn't have a podcast last week, but the shit happened, literally. I used the restroom, and I flushed, like you do, not knowing that the toilet was clogged, and that the water bubbled up and pushed the lid up and flowed out over it. I'm like, oh no! And I'm quickly trying to get the bath mat out of the way and the trash can and the few other things I have on the floor near the toilet, like the scrubby, cleany brush, the plunger, the bath mat as mentioned. And it keeps bubbling over, and I'm like, oh no, do I turn the water off? Surely it's gonna stop at some point. And so I start grabbing towels, and then I go, wait a minute, and I go into the hallway linen closet, which is not locked in my home, and get some of the older towels and start sandbagging the exit of the bathroom where the carpet starts. This happened, of course, this was last Saturday night, or well, this happened at like 5:30 or something like that. So yeah, maintenance that would have been off the clock even if it weren't Saturday. We do have emergency maintenance, but yeah. So I cleaned up as best I could and barricade. What a horrible mess! And in fact, had to cancel the Sunday stream last week too, because I managed to get maintenance out here, but they were going to be here between I think it was 1 and 3. I think they got here slightly after 1, so that was nice, and fixed the toilet and cleaned everything up. Not exactly in that order, but I did have to retire a couple of towels. They were older towels, so not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, that never happens after you go number 1, does it? Always number 2. Well, I guess number 2 is more likely to clog than number 1. If your urine is thick enough to clog your pipes, you might want to see someone about that. That that sounds bad. So, yeah, so no podcast last week, and the podcast before that got eaten, so so everyone who saw it live got to see the majesty of whatever the hell I talked about last week. So, a couple years ago, I got a new job. It's a very good job. I'm the only thing I have to complain about is the last year, because our company is all in on AI. Well, not all in, but is in on AI, and I don't like it. It makes me unhappy. But I have enough money not just to save instead of just, you know, exist, right? As I was prior to, throughout my entire life prior to 3.5 years ago, but to invest. Um, and I have now I have very little understanding of investments, but so I have a person who handles my investments for me, which I lucked into because I know a guy. Now, the guy who handles my investments normally wouldn't handle the investments of anyone who doesn't have at least $500,000 to invest. I do not have $500,000 to invest. Not even, not nowhere near that. But we both know a guy, so he's doing it. So he's managing my meager investments as a favor uh, for a mutual friend. So lucked out there. Um, if you have investments of your own, don't look at them now. If you're not, unless you're managing them. If you're not managing them, don't look at them now. Oh, it's bad. It's very bad. It's under. If you're familiar with world events, it's not too terribly surprising. But yeah, I'm trying to make myself feel better by telling myself that I'm privileged to be in a position to have enough money invested to lose thousands of dollars. Yeah, not as it's not as bad as actually I haven't checked my 403B, is that what it is? Because yeah, I think it was it April of last year? Uh Lost about 15 grand. It did come back, thankfully. So I'm hoping this will rebound. I'm like decades from retirement, so plenty of time for it to rebound. So I try not to sweat it too much. But it is pretty scary when you see that line going down. Yeah, I've over the last couple of days lost $6,200. So, um, but hey, I'm I had $6,200 to lose, and that's that's a lot better than that's a position I've never been in before. So haha. So you try and look on the bright side of things. Excuse me for just a sec. Let me double check something. Okay. Don't need that. There we go. So yeah, don't check your investments every day. If you're not managing them and you're years, decades from retirement, just probably let it ride. Try not to think about it. Ugh. It's like, well, savings accounts are more stable. Yeah, but my high yield savings account uh, nets like 0.005% interest or some obnoxious thing. I don't think it's that low. I think it's 0.5% or something like that. Like I like the last time I earned interest in my savings account, it was like $1.17. It's like, yay. Like it's like I'm not I don't know what the line is, but what the cap is, but I don't have to pay tax. I earn so little interest in my savings that the IRS is like, nah, we're good. You keep it. You enjoy that $1.17 there, bucko. Hey, Chaos. So, if you heard me humming to myself before the stream officially started, you might you'll be unsurprised to hear that yeah, I'm still playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33 because the gosh darn game doesn't end. Well, I mean it does end, but I'm pretty sure I could just go to what I think is the final area with probably the actual end of the game. But I'm one of those compulsive gamers who feels they must do everything, and Clair Obscur has a big open-ish world of things to find and punch in the face. And there's a lot to find and punch in the face, and I'm still finding things to punch in the face. Um, I just today, like half an hour ago, and I've been spending all damn day on this. I finished the Endless Tower, I think it's called, something like that. The Endless Tower, um, which does actually have an end. I finally reached the end, like between 5:30 ish, and the final boss of the Endless Tower is probably the longest boss fight I have ever participated in. And some of the Monster Hunter boss fights are, the Proof of a Hero quest. I've done like 8 or 9 times, and I've failed it a few times. But most of the time, I just time out at 50 minutes. This boss fight took me over an hour. It's really, really, it took so long. And it was really tense because I was like, oh man. Luckily, the bosses, while they hit really hard, it really seems to be a boss fight based on stamina. It's like, can you hang with this and perform for an hour plus? Because they hit hard, but I found these bosses, their attacks to be pretty readable and clear, and pretty, for me anyway, pretty consistently able to parry with minimal mistakes. Which is good because that is a long fight. I was really afraid that once I got him down to like, I don't know, 10% health or something, they'd start adding new moves and they'd just smite me in one hit and I'd lose an hour of progress. Oh, that would feel terrible. It's like in Monster Hunter Wilds. Nothing is worse than timing out at 50 minutes. That's why I've only attempted the Proof of a Hero quest like 8 or 9 times, because it's a commitment. It's not like, oh, I'll just try this real quick. No, you got to clear at least an hour, because I know some people can clear that quest in 20 minutes, but I ain't one of them. If I'm going to clear it, it's going to take me nearly the entire 50 minutes. I can get Arkveld to Skull with about 2 minutes and change left on the clock. That ain't quite it. If I had like 52 or 53 minutes, I could do it, but oh man. It's just gonna, well, I'll talk about Monster Hunter. We're talking about Clair Obscur. But yeah, this last boss fight took me over a damn hour. Holy biscuits. That is a long one. And I'm at level 90, I think, to the point where the characters need 13 billion EXP to level up. So I have to imagine I'm pretty I don't know what the level cap is or if there is one, but gracious, that seems to be pretty well up there, and it still took me over an hour just to chip the bosses, and the boss is it's just one boss, one health bar, but oh my god. And I did have Mael in the party, and she's, I had her doing like, at max, setting it up right. I could get her to do almost 1.2 billion damage in a turn. And yes, I am aware that if you set things up right, she can probably do like 37 billion or something like that. But yeah, that was a long fight. So, what's left? Well, there are 2 merchants that I know of that still have stuff for me to buy. There's one in the floating fortress. Oh, I think that was the one I did last night or Thursday night or something. The one that has 4 bosses, and then the house opens up and you fight CL. Jesus, she was hard. Um, she like summons ghost Nevrons, and they're really hard to read because that one took me several tries to. She only has like I think like 3 or 4 different combos, but it took me a fair few attempts to start learning which combos were which and what the timings were because man, that one was really hard. Um, there's a merchant there that has some stuff I need to buy, and I think there's a merchant in the Sacred Springs or something who has some stuff that I need to buy. Then there's a flying snake monster, a big pink flying snake monster that I tried once a while back, and it looked in my direction, and my characters immediately dropped dead. I'm like, okay, I probably need to be a bit higher level to tackle this guy. Um, there's the painting workshop that I haven't been there in a while. I forget where it is, but and I need to go back there because I know that area is not finished. I'm collecting a bunch of something flesh, and I can't remember what it's for. There's a big monster that will eat your characters, and when you beat it, you get their flesh. I think one of the white Nevrons wanted it for something, and I've got a stockpile of this now, and I don't know what I don't remember what it's for. Um, so yeah, in the endless tower, there's a doorway in the back that doesn't open, and then there's like 2 or 3 paintings that you can enter to a boss fight, and I went into one, and it was a chromatic lamp lighter one, and he immediately destroyed me in one touch, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe you can be significantly higher than level 90, or you just have to play this absolutely perfectly. So, yeah, still a lot to do in this game, I think. I like the game, but good gravy, there's a lot of it. Arguably too much. Too much game in the game. Um, but still really enjoying it. I do hold to the opinions that I've expressed in weeks past. Um, in that I think the game could have paced itself out better. Because the main story is pretty linear. It doesn't really open itself up until very close to the end of the story campaign. It's pretty much like, okay, Link, you could go into Hyrule Castle and fight Ganon, but there's lots of stuff in Hyrule to do now. You know, it'd be better. I would have liked it better if Hyrule would have been a bit more accessible to me throughout my adventure rather than just jamming it all in the end. Of course, most of the crap that litters the world that you can go to before you go to the very end is like extraordinarily high level. I think you finish the game like at level 60 or so, 60 or 70. So, and these are stuff that well, 60s, I think. And these are like the last few floors of the endless tower, you definitely want to be in the 80s at least, because I was level 90, I think, I think I'm at level 90 when well, actually have, let's check. Because this is very important. Yeah, level 90. Um, and it took me over an hour to beat the final boss. I think it gave me like 500,000,000 EXP, and as I said, I think it's 13 billion to level up. So it's not like an efficient boss to farm because it took over an hour. It took so long. It just has so much health. I wonder how much health that thing. It must have. Maybe it has like a solid trillion net health or something. I have no idea, but good gravy. That was a long fight. Luckily, it's a turn-based RPG, so I mean, if you can pause it, you can, you get it, you can answer the phone or go to the bathroom or whatever you need to do. It's totally fine. So Clair Obscur, I do like it. But maybe there's the pacing could have been better, and there's perhaps too much of it. But hey, is there such thing as too much of a good thing? Yes, but you know, I might lovingly criticize a good thing, but I'd never poo-poo it. So as I was mentioning, still playing. Well, not as Monster Hunter World is winding down. I think next week is the final week of the anniversary celebration festival thing, and they're introducing the 10-star Gogmazios fight, and then I think that's the end until Master Rank, which they'll start talking about the expansion, which they said they'll start talking about this summer, which means fall, November or thereabouts at the earliest, but maybe next January or so. Um, I don't have much left to do in the game. The guy, I'll attempt the Gogmazios 10 star, um, but I don't think it gives special rewards. Um, so I have the Gogmazios 10 star, the Proof of a Hero quest, and I still need two Gogmazios gems to create the last two pieces of Gogmazios armor, because Gogma's been very stingy about dropping gems, and that fight takes me about half an hour. It's I mean they're low percent drops. They're like 1 or 2% drops, but it's it's a bit deflating to do a 30-minute fight and not get the thing you need repeatedly. So, um but I'll give Gogma a 10 star a go, and maybe I'll luck out and finally get the gems I need. Only need two more. Then I'll have every piece of armor in the game. And then of course I still need to beat Proof of a Hero, and I'm close. I just need to have a really good run. I'm just not doing enough damage. Survivability isn't my problem, although I have been smited and failed the quest a couple of times. I talked about it on social media earlier this week. Um, I had one run through Proof of a Hero that was just a comedy of errors. So if you're not familiar, Monster Hunter Wilds has the Apex monsters. There's five different maps, and each map has its Apex monster, the biggest, baddest beast of each of the areas. And each of these monsters have an arch-tempered version. So there's tempered monsters, who are these battle-hardened veterans of fighting. They're battle-scarred, and they've got a lot of experience, and they're tough and stuff. And then there's arch-tempered, who are even worse. And then there's the 10-star arch-tempered. So Proof of a Hero makes you go through four of the five arch-tempered, 10-star arch-tempereds in 50 minutes. Everyone except Jindahad, who's the big ice dragon who really only works in a specific special arena, so that's why he's not in the arena. So you have Raydao, who's a big thunder lightning shooting dragon. Uthduna, who's a whale, a land whale. Nuudra, who's a big flame octopus. And then Arkveld, who's a dragon with like chain blades on its wings, which is pretty cool. The Templar sword that what's her name from Trails the Third, Sky the Third. What the hell's her name? Reese. Kevin Squire, the Templar sword that she has, that segmented sword. It kind of has like four of those on its wings, two on each side. It's pretty cool. So you have to fight all four of them in a row in the arena inside of 50 minutes, and I'm close. But my biggest problem, again, is not survivability, it's just doing enough damage. I'm an okay monster hunter, but I'm not really great at figuring out where a monster is going and where it's going to be. So I spend too much time trying to chase the son of a gun down. I'll be like at the monster's face, I'm gonna smack it in the noggin, and then it turn around and chases down my cat or something, and I'll be like, oh crap, okay. And I put my weapon away and I run after it and I get up to it and I take my weapon out and and then it just wanders off somewhere else. I'm like, no, come back. I spend so much time chasing the son of a gun down that I think that's where I'm losing a lot of time. Uh, that and I'm really bad about actually hitting the weak spots like the head because the monsters don't hold still. Be a lot easier if they did, but a lot of times I'll aim at the head and then they'll move and I'll hit them in the wing where they're not as weak, And or they'll take a step forward and I'll end up under them, smacking them in the ankles where they don't take as much damage. So I really just have to, if I just, occasionally you end up just dominating a monster. Just all of the cards fall exactly where you need it. If I can get one of those for one of the monsters, like if I could get Ray Dow down in like 5 minutes, save myself an extra 4 minutes, it's probably all I need, as long as I don't screw up something else. And it's a 50-minute quest. There's a lot of time to screw something up. So, the funniest thing that happened was I was fighting Ray Dow, which was the lightning dragon, and then the Uthaduna, the whale, came in. I'm like, all right, you two play nice. I'm gonna go back to camp real quick and switch my loadout, or I was either restocking or changing my weapons. So I went back to camp, grabbed my weapon, and then I ran back. And your camp is up on a ledge, so you have to jump off the ledge down into the arena. So, I cowabunga and take a flying leap off the ledge into the arena, and Ray Dow snipes me with a lightning bolt while I'm in the air, catches me right out of the air, and I go flying and land on the ground in a stun, which means I can't move for like 7 seconds. To be clear, there are anti-stun decorations that you could wear to prevent that from happening, but usually getting stunned is not a problem for me. It happens on occasion, but I'm usually pretty good about dodging or blocking, so I don't get stunned too much. But you get sniped out of the air jumping back into the arena and get stunned on that first hit, well, shit. Not much you can do there. Hopefully Uthaduna and Ray Dow are too busy paying attention to each other or my cat to pay attention to me flailing on the ground after getting sniped out of the air with a lightning bolt. Nope. Because I'm flailing on the ground stunned, and I look up and Uthaduna is doing the beached whale body slam and just lands on top of me and kills me. I'm like, well, shoot. Good thing I had insurance, because you get three deaths, but you can get a particular skill which gives you like one free death. It's called insurance. I'm like, okay, well, there's my freebie. You can also get a free revive from your cat. I either used it refreshes every hour. I either used it in the last time I attempted it, or I'm forgetting a death, because if you have your cat for goop you, and you have insurance, that's 2 extras. But I'm pretty sure I died 4 times and then failed. So that was number 1. Number 2, actually I forget, but I wrote it down, so let me double check. Da, 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 da. Oh, yeah, so, the lightning dragon is now dead, and now I'm just fighting the whale. Um, I was in a bad position, and, the whale's gonna belly flop me again. I think my character just gave up, because she just dropped dead before the whale landed on her. I think she passed out from fear. Is the weirdest thing. The whale jumps up and my character just collapses dead. I'm like, what? I mean, it was going to land on me and probably kill me anyway, but I'm not sure what happened there. Weird. So anyway, that's 2 deaths. Um, So, Nudra, the flame octopus, wanders in. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to hide on the other side of the flame octopus, and hopefully the flame octopus will be paying attention to the whale and do some damage and kill her off, and I'll be poking it in the butt with a stick. So I'm up in the flame octopus's grill, slashing away, when suddenly I see the whale flying in from the other side of the flame octopus and lands on my damn head again. I didn't even see it. I'm just slashing away, and suddenly, whale thump, dead again. That's three. So where'd my mouse cursor go? Lost my mouse cursor. There it is. So then I beat the flame octopus, and we're at Arkveld, and I don't the last one was not as funny. I probably still had like 10, 12 minutes of it, so I didn't get like right down to the wire. This was probably not one I was going to win anyway. But I died just because I screwed up. So Arkveld has these subsequent series of dragon explosions. I miscounted and dropped my shield on the last one and blew up. Oops. It's like, well, okay, yeah. Yeah, that one's on me. Oops-a-doodle. So, yeah, so I did play 10 Stars Oshia. That one was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. So yeah, I just need 2 Gogmazios parts, 10-star Gogmazios next week, and I'll get the Proof of a Hero eventually. I'm pretty close. Um, it's just each run, it's gonna take me 50 minutes, and sometimes I just like I've only tried it, I think it's 8 or 9 times. Oh, and it's been available over the last 2 weeks because it's like it's not something I can sit there and grind because it just takes so long. I try it once and I'm like, okay, that's enough, you know. So yeah. Anyway, still enjoying Monster Hunter Wild. Looking forward to the Master Rank expansion whenever that comes out. So let's see. So watched some movies this week. A couple nights ago, I was just browsing around the streaming services, and I checked out Tubi to see if anything interesting was on there. And I saw Day of the Triffids, which is a movie I'm aware of, and not just because the song features in the science fiction double feature song from the front of Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I really got hot when I saw Jeanette Scott fight a Triffid that spits poison and kills. Right? Um, I mean, that's probably where I first heard of the movie, but anyway. So I'm like, Day of the Triffids. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. So I watched it, and I'm still not sure if I've ever seen it. Because it was not but a few minutes into the movie where I was like, wait a minute, I know exactly what's gonna happen. But, I mean, the movie's 60 some years old. I'm probably just aware what the premise is. And then I was like, no, I know how this ends. There's the guy and the gal, Jeanette Scott, actually, at the lighthouse, and they're being chased up the stairs by the Triffids, and they spray them with seawater, and then they dissolve. And he's like, my God, 2/3 of the earth is covered in seawater. We're gonna win this thing. Because I had that, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's this movie. I know how it ends. And that is how the movie ends. So but I did not recognize or remember literally anything else in the movie up to the very end. So I'm wondering if I just like caught the end of the movie at my grandmother's or something like that. 25 years ago. Like she was watching it on TMC or something, and I saw the beginning of it, and I went and I did something. I came back in at the very end. Maybe that's what it was. But Day of the Triffids is an interesting film. I've not read the book, um, but also Tubi's copy is very bad. Someone needs to clean up that print because it looks terrible. Um, if you watch my sister and I's movie mandates podcast, uh, next month or the month after is Silent Movies Month, and she mandated Metropolis, a silent film from the 20s. Um, she watched it on well, both of us started watching it on Tubi, and after a few minutes, what I was noticing was that the soundtrack that's playing with the movie, remember, these are silent films that would have been accompanied live because they didn't have synced sound at that time. So there's not old silent films don't really have an official original score. Um, so I'm guessing. So I was watching it on Tubi, and it was this looping easy jazz phrase, like maybe 2 or 3 minutes of light jazz, and the movie's over 2 hours. It's like a 2.5 hour movie. It's a pretty long movie, and it's just the same 2 or 3 minutes of music just looping over and over, no matter what's happening. I mean, it kind of sounds similar to the theme from what did I describe it as? I think the theme from The Odd Couple. Da 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 da. Right? Great theme. But maybe not the best thing to have during a love scene or an action scene. Oh my god, things are going to explode. All the children are dying. The monsters are eating my feet. Da 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 da. Right? So I stopped the movie and I started skipping through. I'm like, does this ever change? No, it's that same musical loop throughout all 2.5 hours of the movie on Tubi. I can only imagine that they got the rights to the film, but not any of the scores that have been done for the film over the years. So they just downloaded some public domain light jazz and just looped it over the entire movie. Um, so I checked to see if it was streaming anywhere else, and it was also streaming on Canopy, which is a service that links up with various libraries. And I watched it on Canopy, and yeah, it had an actual film, a recorded film score that I think it was recorded in like 2001 or something like that. And I was like, one that actually reflected what was going on in the scene at the time. My sister doesn't have Canopy. Her local library just isn't part of Canopy, so she had to watch the entire thing on Tubi with that looping jazz, 2 or 3 minutes of jazz just throughout the entire movie. Um, and she did her best to not let that color her opinion of the film. Oh my god. Anyway, I was talking about Dave the Triffids. It's a really weird movie because there's a lot going on with it. Too much, like Clair Obscur, one might criticize. Hey, Lindy. Lindy says, "Oh, I thought you ended up watching the movie and me." You know what? If the only place I could have watched it, I probably would have muted the damn thing. you know, it's a silent movie. You're not missing much. There's no dialogue. There's no music. There's no Foley. I don't want to listen to this looping jazz refrain for 2.5 hours. Luckily, I had another option, but I don't think my sister did. So that's a shame. I would have warned her, but I watched it late at night. She's 2 hours ahead of me, so she'd already watched it by the time I watched it. So I was watching. I'm like, oh no, I hope she didn't watch the whole thing with the same music. My camera's out of focus. Thank you for telling me. Deactivate camera, activate camera. There we go. Day of the Triffids. So, if you've never seen the movie, uh, there is a celestial event, a at least hours long meteor shower, with just meteors zipping across the sky, accompanied by colorful flashes of light. A veritable kaleidoscopic cacophony of brilliant flashes of color. Um, and everyone is like, oh my god, we've never seen or heard of anything like it. The news is like, get your arses outside and go look at the thing. Who knows if this will ever happen again? So far as we know, this has never happened in all of recorded human history. So this is pretty neat. It's colorful and pretty. Go look. Unfortunately, everyone who looks at it goes blind the following morning. So the movie's not terribly clear on if this was like a global thing. Uh like did it happen for 24 hours so like everyone on Earth got to see it, or was it just like a 4 some hour window so it was only uh Europe that was affected, and everyone on the other side of the planet where it was light didn't get to see it? So it doesn't really say, but it comes across like, yeah, this affected the entire world. The overwhelmingly vast majority of people on Earth are suddenly blind now. And the movie has a very realistic and sobering depiction of what would happen to society if uh, everyone except a genuinely very small handful of people went blind. Because everyone heard about it, everyone went outside, almost, literally almost everyone went outside to look. I would have went outside to look. I would have been blind too. The only people who aren't, our main protagonist is a guy who had eye surgery, so he couldn't look. There's a little girl who ran away from home and was hiding in the luggage car of a train, which didn't have any windows, so she didn't know about it. She didn't see it. So there's only a very, very small handful of people who can still see. And if you think about it, it's like if everyone just suddenly went blind, would we switch? No, that would be the end, essentially. Um, and the movie's very clear about depicting that. They're like, yeah, there's going to be starvation, pestilence, just accidents, people falling off of or into stuff. Um, People are going to dehydrate and starve. People are going to, in crowded areas like cities and stuff, one person accidentally lights something on fire, and that could easily spread and just take down the entire city. Because there's no fire department, there's no emergency services, there's no one, everyone is helpless, so no one can help you. And for the very, 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 very few people who can still see, they don't know what to do. They can't help millions of people at once. You've got a bunch of panicked, scared people. There's a bunch of people in a commercial airliner, and they're all blind, and they can't land the plane because there's no one at the tower talking to them because they're all blind too, and they crash and die. Everyone on board. It's pretty terrible. And there's also flesh-eating plant monsters. If that wasn't enough. And you might think, oh, so the flashing light display, the meteor shower, heralded the arrival of the Triffids, the flesh-eating plant monsters. Interestingly, no. The Triffids actually, they are alien plants, but they came to Earth on a previous meteor shower. which is kind of an odd narrative choice, right? It's some time ago, I'm not, maybe a year or two ago, there was another meteor shower, apparently not as colorful, that brought some alien plant form to Earth that they just called, and it's just a regular sized flowery plant that they called the Triffid. It's, Triffidus something icus. It's got a scientific name. It's just Triffid. But the night the current meteor shower with all the flashy lights in the sky caused the Triffids to mutate into like 9 foot tall, venomous, flesh-eating plant monsters that can also uproot their asses and walk you down. And everyone's blind now, so not only can they not really see it coming, they might just accidentally wander into the arms of one of these damn things. Wow, this is pretty damn hopeless. It's I remember the lyric from the Rocky Horror Picture Show's song, Science Fiction Double Feature, is, and I really got hot when I saw Jeanette Scott fight a Triffid that spits poison and kills. Here's the thing, though. The Triffids don't really spit poison, or at least it's unclear whether they do. You hear on the radio that they have a poisonous barb. And there's a scene earlier in the film where our two heroes who can see are in a car that's stuck in the mud, and they're trying to drive away from a approaching Triffid. And they finally get, just as they get traction, start driving away, a big glob of green slime hits the rear windshield. Did it spit at them? Because it never does that again. There's another scene later in the movie where our hero is carrying, shoulder carrying someone away from the Triffids. And there's a scene where the Triffid seems to like propel its barb, not like poison or acid or blood or goo or anything, but like an actual barb. It like launches it, but the effect is bad, so it's not exactly clear what happens, except he's like, "You okay, Henry?" Oh shoot, he died. Right. So it's not really clear if the Triffids can actually spit poison or not. I don't know if the filmmakers actually knew. I get a feeling that this the whole what's interesting is Jeanette Scott and other guy, the two characters in the lighthouse, are introduced as like special appearance by in the opening credits, which I thought was kind of odd. But watching the movie, everything that happens with Jeanette Scott and other guy in the lighthouse has literally nothing to do with anything else in the entire movie. It is completely divorced from everything else. The characters never meet. They don't like talk over the radio. One doing something doesn't affect the other. I think the movie came up short of feature length, and they had to film more stuff to make it longer. And all the lighthouse stuff is probably they hired Jeanette Scott and other guy to just film more stuff for Day of the Triffid. That's my theory anyway. Because it really feels like it doesn't belong in the movie at all. Plus that whole special appearance credit, which is just kind of odd wording. So, now that said, is it a good movie? No. No, it's not. But it's a solid premise, and it's a movie that I was watching. I'm like, they should remake this if they haven't already. I'm sure probably someone has. It's like a TV movie or something. But there's a lot of really like the premise is horrifying. Everyone's blind. What are we going to do? The movie ends, as I mentioned, the movie ends, they figure out that salt water, seawater, dissolves the Triffids. And he's like, my God, 75% of the Earth's surface is covered in the thing that can kill these things. We can win this. And the movie ends on a real upbeat, the substance that brought us life we'll also continue our life, or some flowery thing like that. And I'm thinking, I mean, that's cool and all, but you've got two major problems here. Number one, no one can see shit. Number two, that doesn't do anybody who's not on the coast any good. I don't think anyone in Oklahoma they're like, sitting around in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and they're like, oh, seawater can kill the Triffids? Great. Doesn't do us a hell of a lot of good here in the middle of the damn country. 1,500, 2,000 miles from the nearest seawater. I guess the Gulf would be closer to Oklahoma, but yeah, we're hundreds of miles away, and also we're all blind, so even if we had seawater, couldn't really hit a Triffid because I can't see anything. So yeah, I don't think the movie's ending earns its optimism. I think humanity is just over. Eh, sorry. Unless the blindness like wears. How long does the movie take place? Over what span of time does the movie take place? At least a week, if not a couple of weeks. So, but maybe people's sight returns after a couple of weeks. There would be some survivors. So that would have killed probably most people on the planet if it takes much longer than a couple of weeks. Um, but maybe, if people start getting their sight back, yeah. Chicago, hello. Lindy says, can't they put salt in water? I mean, they say seawater. I'm kind of assuming it's salt water. It could just like regular brackish water, like if you. Lindy has a good point though. It's like, could you just dump table salt in a glass of water and splash it in its face? Could you just throw salt at it? Is it just the salt, or is it something specific to seawater? The movie's not clear on that. But it's also only an hour and a half or so, so it's a pretty breezy watch. It's got better ideas than it does. The ideas are pretty great. The execution is pretty not. But I was like, why? There's this scene where there's a couple of people who retained their sight who are taking care of about a few dozen blind people in a manor out in the woods somewhere. But they're found by some convicts who were, in prison and couldn't see the stuff, and they take over the compound, and all the blind people are at their mercy, and then the Triffids break through the window and start menacing everybody, and I'm like, oh man, this could be a hell of a scene if it were competently filmed, if they had the budget and the time to actually do this right. That this could have been an amazing scene, but you just kind of have to use your imagination. Chicago says seawater, yeah, and it needs fish pee and poo in the water along with the salt. Yeah, who knows if it's just the salt? If someone's like just dunks that, just dives into the ocean and then walks out, it's like, haha, come at me, bro. I'm covered in that which kills you. I don't know. I also watched The Killer. John Woo's The Killer. No, not that one. The other John Woo's The Killer. Are there two John Woos? Well, probably. But John Woo remade his own movie last year or so. I have seen the original with Chow Yun Fat, I'm pretty sure. Uh, I haven't seen it in a long, long time. Uh, I think if I'm remembering right, I was like, it's fine. It's got good action in it. Is it a great movie? No, it's got good action. It's fine. This one is same general premise. We've got a hitman who blinds a bystander during one of their hits and then takes pity on her and kind of befriends her and then does other stuff. The basic premise is the same. The details are different, so that was nice. It's not like what's the name of the dude who did Funny Games? I can't remember his name. But he remade his own movie too, and it's just the exact same movie. Same characters, same actions, same dialogue for the most part. Well, it just in English because the original is German and the remake's American. This one is oh well, the original I guess was in Cantonese. I can't remember. This is an well, it's American and French. It takes place in France, so it's English and French. Um, and it's okay. It's fine-ish. Oh, hooray for me. Yeah, I'm not great at pronouncing foreign words, to my great shame. I'm pretty bad at it. Um, so appreciate the praise when I occasionally get it right. Um, so the new movie is like the first. It's okay. It's not great, but it's got some nice action. What's the dude's name? Is it Omar Sy? I think his name is. Another name I'm not. Yes, S-Y. I'm gonna guess Psy. I don't know if that's correct, but um, he's a lot of fun to watch. The woman who plays the hitman, I'm not familiar with, but she's got some nice screen presence and action chops too. Um, there are a lot of there's some good the movie's a little on the long side, but there's some good action in it. Um, my favorite bit was the ending takes place in a cemetery. I think the first one does too. And one bad guy uh, takes a grenade to the crotch and uh, flies through the air and lands in an open grave, and he's on fire, which which got a big chuckle out of me. Um, so there's some good stuff in it. I also really like the lead, the hitman. Uh, she has a lot of different disguises and outfits and stuff, and I really liked they it was I liked how far they went with it. It's like she's really taking her look like a different person seriously rather than just putting on a different hat or a pair of glasses or something. She looks, you could say, it's like I can understand why no one would recognize her. So I thought that was fun. Um, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Guy takes a grenade to the crotch and gets flung into an open grave while on fire. You know, that was worth it right there for me. That's like 2 hours. That's the very end of the movie. I was like, you know what? Even if I didn't like the movie, that was worth my 2 hour investment. That scene right there. So so that's it for me tonight. Tomorrow we're going to I think we're saving some daylight overnight. So I gotta make sure I don't accidentally start the stream an hour early or an hour late or whatever daylight savings does. It's dumb. Um, let's see. I think we're going forward, so we're losing an hour. So, from my perspective, I'd be starting early, I guess. Um, whatever. So I'm. I think maybe possibly we'll finish Trails of Cold Steel 2 tomorrow. We'll see. We've still got the flea market to shop at, and then I think we have to go into the old schoolhouse again. Uh, is it a enormous multi-level dungeon with all kinds of bosses in it? Who knows? Well, I'm sure many of you do. I don't. So, but maybe we'll finish Cold Steel 2 tomorrow. Looking forward to wrapping that project up, and then I have then we'll do Suikoden 2, might do Brian's. So we might take a 2, maybe 3 weeks between Cold Steels 2 and 3. I also want to do a post Cold Steel 2 video. So gonna be working on that. Let's see. Chicago says grenade to the crotch and flies through the air. If it was the other John Woo, there would have just been bloody body parts all over the place. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't. He's remarkably intact for having a shrapnel grenade go off right in his crotch. Yeah, that should have torn him apart, but that would have been awesome, but it wouldn't have been as funny. So, all right. Dinner time for me, so have a good night, everyone, and hope to see you tomorrow for what possibly is the final stream of Cold Steel 2. So, till next time, friends, take care. Bye-bye.